Hey pals, Palomore here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys two things. One, I'm going to teach you that if you're low health, you should probably just use your Crimson Vial, as so. It's good health regen. And number two, we're going to be looking at rogue changes in 9.1. There's more changes that have been added onto the PTR in the patch note. The patch will be linked down below. But anyways, let's jump right into the video. Okay guys, anyways, welcome back for another installment of kind of going over 9.1 and what changes are to come. I figured I'm going to just do this video the same way as the last one. I'm kind of just going to jump between in-game, both on the PTR right here, and then kind of back to the patch notes, and we'll kind of do everything. I have glimpsed over these charges. I say glimpse because I just saw the word glimpse there. I would never usually say that. I have glanced over the changes here, and I did test some of them on the PTR, but I haven't super thoroughly gone over them. But that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to talk about predictions for what's to come in 9.1, as well as what's probably going to be the main meta shift. I can tell you right now at the start of the video, I do plan on still playing both Subtlety and Asa, primarily Necro Asa. I think it's going to be really strong, but yeah, let's jump right into it. So starting off with Assassination, and then we'll go to Outlaw and Subtlety. So Asa, first up, I guess I'll just put this out there. I'm not going to really cover the things that aren't too important. Like, for example, this first PvP talent here, this got removed. No one really played this. It kind of got changed, but it's nothing that important. It's basically a move speed slow. I don't think that this is very powerful in many situations, so I'm not too worried about that, but basically it's making it when you envenom, you're having more of a slow on your opponent. Next up, they're removing Honor Among Thieves, another not so important. And here's where the actual changes kind of switch up. So, Intent to Kill. Basically, this used to be something for Asa that would reduce your Shadow Step cooldown by 66% when you use it on a target that has Vendetta. They actually buffed this to 90%, and this is kind of crazy in game. So we were actually testing this. I'm in Asa right now, so let me just run out here and show you guys. The actual amount of time this can take off of your Shadow Step is pretty impressive. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you guys actually. Let's just say you're opening on a target with Garrote, you Vendetta them, and you Shadow Step. As you can see, the cooldown on Shadow Step is literally 3 seconds. And something else to note with this is there's actually a conduit. I don't know if I slotted it or not. But the conduit, yeah, down here. So I did put it in quick decisions. This will also reduce Shadow Step cooldown by an additional 10% and increase the range. So, you know, if you have Vendetta on a kill target, this is going to be really, really helpful for staying kind of glued to them. The first things that come to my head is using this versus Affliction Warlocks. Usually something that rogues have been doing is playing Maneuverability to kind of like be able to have a fast sprint to catch the target. This kind of deals with that mobility problem. It kind of ensures you're going to get major cooldowns during your Vendetta if you're playing Asa. So I think anytime there's a mobility issue, this might be better to take over Maneuverability for Asa. Obviously, it's a little bit situational, but yeah, this is something that I think is going to be really cool, and we'll potentially see people playing. Anyways, back on the notes here. Maneuverability. So this is the one that I was just talking about. This one's really, really simple. Basically, what this is our sprint here. This used to only knock a set of slowing effects, so it would basically completely suppress slow effects for 4 seconds, and you could be able to have a fast sprint. Now, if you play this talent on 9.1, it will also clear you out of roots, so definitely a buff here, making this kind of viable. Like I said, as an Asa Rogue, you're probably still going to want this to stay locked on your target during your Vendetta. You'll get way more value, I think. But this could potentially be used in other situations, so that's definitely a good buff as well. Last up here, Mind Numbing Poison basically got removed, so they're kind of just limiting the options again on the talents. So yeah, let's jump down to Outlaw. So for Outlaw, lots of notes here, but honestly, not that much of it is that important, so we'll just kind of skim through here. Boarding Party... between the eyes increases move speed. This is like not that great. Doesn't really matter. This got a little buff. Cheap Tricks, you know, this thing got removed. No one really played this. You know, it's Outlaw. I got my boy Seckle, who's a big Outlaw fan, but, you know, most of us rogues, we're not too into the Outlaw scene. Control is King. This got removed as well, and actually got placed back. So Cheap Shot now grants Slice and Dice for 15 seconds, and Kidney restores 15 energy per combo point spent. So this is something I actually haven't seen yet. This actually looks not bad for Outlaw. This kind of is like the Outlaw version of Pre-Med, I guess, and it gives you some more energy restoration, so that could be good. And then here is something that is very big. There are two changes about Outlaw that make me very happy. So number one is Disarm. Disarm is now available for every spec. From just Outlaw to Assa, Outlaw, and Sub. This is so good for rogues. We're going to finally have a way to not get absolutely destroyed by warriors and rets and things like this. So yeah, this is now a PvP talent that all three specs can pick up. Something that's really cool, and we're probably going to see as something that's used in the cleaves. Really quickly, I'll just jump down while we're talking about Disarm. Another thing that's usable by everything now is also Thick as Thieves. So if you guys remember back in, I believe it was like Mists of Pandaria, I think there was a glyph or something. But basically, whenever you use your Tricks of the Trade on a target, it would increase yours and their damage during the duration of like the threat transfer. And they actually made this so it works for every specs. This was for Outlaw only, but they did reduce it. They increased the damage, but they reduced the effect by making it not affect your damage. So basically, if you play this PvP talent as any spec and you use Tricks of the Trade on one of your teammates, as soon as you attack something, they will have 15% increased damage for 6 seconds. All three specs can play this. I think this is definitely something that's not going to be the guaranteed pick, but I'm just picturing comps like RMP, you know, being able to give your mage's combustion a 15% damage bonus as a sub rogue. That sounds super sick, sweet, whatever I want to call it. I'm very excited about this. But yeah, anyways, back up to the other changes. It looks like this talent got removed. I'm not too sure about Outlaw stuff. It got replaced, I guess. So Crimson Vial heals more. And grants AoE healing, so that's kind of interesting, I guess. And then this one is something I saw as well. So this basically makes it so when you're playing this talent, every 3 seconds you're in combat, you're stacking up. You're stacking up stamina and percentage chance for Sinister Strike to hit additional times. I'm picturing this for Outlaw Rogues playing with a healer in 2v2 maybe, or like playing some type of like Outlaw Rogue Cleave, maybe like Outlaw Rogue Warrior, Outlaw Rogue Monk, some weird stuff. But if you're in combat for a long time, having more percentage health, this is going to make your Vial heal more, obviously. And then I guess just a bit more DPS, kind of cool, but I still don't know if it's anything that's like game-changing. And then this is another one we looked at. So, Float Like a Butterfly, basically Outlaw, I'll jump back on the game here. Outlaw has a passive, and what it is it makes it so your combo points, I believe, whenever you consume combo points, you're resetting your abilities. Let me just double check and read it so I don't mess anything up here. Go to the Outlaw tree. So yeah, Restless Blaze, it's finishing moves, so not just combo points. Oh, it is per combo point spent. But anyways, basically everything you do is reducing the cooldown on your abilities. And what this PvP talent does over here is it makes it so that also affects feint. Sorry, where is it? It affects evasion and feint. So this defensively is going to help Outlaw Rogues a lot in PvP. So I'm really starting to think like Outlaw Rogues might be a little beefy, you know, maybe stacking up Enduring Brawler, stacking up Float Like a Butterfly, and then maybe even playing this and having you know, some improved self-healing, they might be able to survive in some of these cleavy comps, having their cooldowns come back up really fast. And I'm sure there's also conduits that could stack with this, especially if we go back to the game. I don't know if my soulbind will work. It does. Okay, cool. Like conduits like this, Prepared for All, where your evasion is getting you know, reset even faster as well by dodging attacks. So I don't know, maybe we'll see some like melee cleave Windwalker, or sorry, not Windwalker, some melee cleave Outlaw Rogue stuff. Nothing guaranteed there, but there's some new changes. Plunder Armor, this was the one I messed around with a little bit for one-shotting as Outlaw. That got removed. And this got a slight buff, so this probably isn't too big of a deal. Anyways, let's move down to the subtlety changes. So, right off the top, Backstab got a small modifier off AP buff, so a bit more backstab damage. Now instead of hitting for 10, you're going to hit for 15 probably. Nothing too crazy here, just some damage. Same with Black Powder, getting a little bit more damage. Shuriken Storm has an additional 15% chance to crit, and its crits, that's the same. It's just increased crit chance on Shuriken Storm, I guess. That's interesting. I didn't actually know about that. Gloomblade got an AP modifier buff as well. This is probably still a garbage talent, but at least they're like buffing some raw damage. That is nice to see, actually. And now here's some sad news. Cold Blood did actually get removed, so, you know, PvP talent gone, but it's actually okay because there are other things that are good, so don't worry about it. Dagger in the Dark, as we know, this nerf happened. I thought this already happened on live, but I guess it's in the 9.1 notes as well. But basically, the Rotten one-shot Dagger in the Dark talent is nerfed. This is kind of old news. Distracting Mirage. Okay, here's a new PvP talent that's quite interesting. So let's quickly read it and then go over it. So, Distract slows affected enemies by 30% and creates a mirage that follows an enemy for 8 seconds. If you reactivate Distract, it'll teleport you to the mirage location. So, instant things to point out about this. You can only use Distract on, let me just say, showing Mirage. You can only use Distract on targets that are out of combat. Therefore, this probably won't get high value in Arena, as your targets are not going to be going out of combat all the time. But I can go ahead and show you. So obviously, if I try to distract him, it actually looks like it worked. Oh, it's because it went to the Black Lamb. That is just lovely. Anyways, I'll show you in a second here when it comes off cooldown. Okay, now that it's back off cooldown, I could show you guys what this is. It's been very buggy on the PTR, but it has worked most times, so I'll go ahead and show you. Basically, you can use Distract on a target. It'll pull your Mirage out here, and basically you have this little unit that just follows your target, and if you reactivate Distract, you will teleport to the location of it. So, you know, there's a lot of cool potential plays to be made like this. One off the top of my head is maybe you're fighting against another rogue. You could actually distract their Vanish, because they'll be out of combat. Distract will work on them, and then you could reactivate in about 3 seconds after Vanish would be over and AoE them out of stealth. That's a cool one. I'll show you what that would look like. I'll just say Trinket Vanish. And basically, what I would do here, stun him, and as soon as he vanishes, I will basically distract, wait like 3 seconds, you see my ghost chasing, reactivate, and then I could just AoE him at a stealth. I think that would be a pretty cool play, but yeah, like I said, overall, this thing in Arena, I don't think it's going to get a lot of value. Kind of just a fun world PvP, a little subtlety tool to use. Back on the notes here, Shadowy Duel got a small nerf. Basically, they just made the duration go from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. This kind of hurts the One Dance build, kind of 100 to 0ing people in Shadow Duel, but it should still be possible, potentially, if you do it really perfect with crit windows. And down here, Silhouette. So basically, Shadow Step's cooldown is reduced by 50%, got buffed up to 67%. When cast on a friendly target, just a small buff. I don't think that this has ever been that crazy good, but Calvish and I talked about it. Potentially versus some caster cleaves, getting punished less for defensive steps. This could be good. I don't think that's like a priority pick. And yeah, so Thief's Bargain actually got removed, and it got re-added as kind of a different spell. So now instead of this old way it worked where it was like a vanish cooldown and lower max health, it still has the idea of punishing you and giving you a benefit. But basically, it makes the cooldown of Blades, Vanish, and Feint reduced by 33%. So this is pretty huge. But anytime you use one, your damage is reduced by 10% for 6 seconds. So immediately when I look at this, through my experience, I feel like this is a bad pick. 10% damage reduction on spells. Like, I mean, you're using Feint a lot in a game, and when you're bursting, you're losing 10% damage on your burst. If you're vanishing, you lose 10% damage. It doesn't really matter as much, but yeah, I'm not too sure about this. Maybe it'll be good defensively, but I feel like you're griefing yourself, and it can't be that good. Anyways, scrolling down to the general changes, Feint actually got a buff. It's going to last for 1 second longer. So going back to that Outlaw tanky style, this actually could play into that. So if you have your Feint talented and you go to Feint for a wall, lasts 1 second longer. Like I said earlier, the Tricks of the Trade thing, it got buffed to 15% from 10. And it basically only works on your target now, not yourself. That's pretty much it for the specs and the general changes. Now down here, we kind of could talk about Legendaries. In general, this is a lot of stuff that's still going through the works of me and Calvish and anyone else kind of figuring out. But off the top of our head, at least what I think that this one will not be good in PvP. I think this potentially could be good. This one looks actually really fun because it's basically guaranteeing that you're going to land on your anima point. And then this one, I'm not too sure. So all in all, I think Flag could be good, and Resounding Clarity looks probably the best out of these Legendaries if they're going to be played. Some people are saying that this looks super OP, but I can quickly explain. The reason why this might not be that good is you're stacking up through your combo points to get a versatility bonus, but as a rogue, as you spend all your combo points, that's when you're doing your damage. So by the time you get off all your eviscerates and your go is kind of over, you're out of stuns, your versatility will be high at that point after you burst, not before you burst. Therefore, I can't imagine this giving a lot of value during an actual burst window. Even though on paper it might look like, when you instantly look at it, kind of like eye candy, I don't think it'll actually be that good. But yeah, like I said, haven't super tested any of these or anything, just kind of from looking over. I'm not sure why this is listed here. It doesn't actually say anything special. But yeah, those are basically the rogue changes, guys. Really, really excited about a couple things. So I guess we'll go over kind of like the highlights before I wrap up here. So definitely things that are exciting. Disarm. This is something that we're really looking forward to. All three specs are going to have the option to have a defensive versus melee cleaves. Tricks of the Trade coming back. This is super exciting, being able to give your partners a damage bonus every 30 seconds by 15%. Like, that's a pretty big deal. And honestly, I'm pretty excited for the Assassination change as well. The talent that gives you 90% reduction on Shadow Step right here, Intent to Kill. This actually looks really good for locking down a target. All in all, these are the things I'm excited to experiment with in 9.1. Obviously, Hemotoxin, I'm not going to talk about it in this one because I talked about it the last time, but this is really, really, really sweet as well. Haven't seen any changes to that yet, so let's hope it stays that way. But yeah, I guess we can kind of wrap up the video now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you find yourself coming back to my videos a lot, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. I'm doing my best to hit 25 million subscribers now. I actually was looking at Mr. Beast's channel, and I saw he had a lot of subs, and I thought that I could maybe have about the same amount if I work really hard for like a couple weeks straight here. So yeah, I would really appreciate that. If you want to catch me on my stream, I stream every single day at twitch.tv/Palamore. You can ask any questions you want, and I will answer you in my chat. And I guess without further ado, guys, I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a great day, and don't forget to vanish.